SofaBaton gave me this remote to make this video. I tried to give it back. They wouldn't take it. They said, we want you to publish your actual thoughts on the remote. And well, I thought to myself, no, you don't. You really don't want that. But after a couple emails back and forth with the representative of the company, it turns out that's exactly what they wanted. That's pretty confident because honestly, when a creator offers to send a product back, it's like saying, I don't have anything positive to say about your product, and I'd rather send it back to you than to make a video that is going to show your product in a negative light. So I dug a little deeper because, well, I felt like I owed it to them. And I was really glad I did, because what I found was my initial impressions, well, they weren't very good. After I gave this thing a couple weeks and a little more attention, I found it to be a really good product. Now, I was glad I hung in there and stuck with it and learned a little bit more about the product, because it turned out to be a really nice product that I actually like, but there are some things I don't like about it, and I'm going to go through all of those so that you can make sure that you make a good decision about whether this is for you or not. Now, this actually has a database that you can select from of over 500,000 devices, and it supports 6,000 brands. So you can put 15 separate remotes in this and just scroll through them with this little wheel. So before I go through and tell you what I liked about the product, I'm going to go through the programming process just a bit and kind of share with you what I didn't like about it. On the screen, you'll see you can select either infrared or Bluetooth, and this is going to be the type of remote that you have. So either you have an infrared remote or you have a remote that can be added via Bluetooth. You'll want to select whichever one of those you're going to try. Now, if you're lucky enough to have a Bluetooth device that you want to connect, it's pretty simple. You just select Bluetooth and then you'll get this screen, which is going to ask you to select the type of device that you're connecting, and it'll tell you to go to that device and get on its settings and connect. And that's a fairly straightforward process. Unfortunately, there aren't a lot of remotes that I had that were Bluetooth. I did find that my Apple TV was able to be connected that way, and after going back and forth with customer service, they were able to point that out, and I was able to connect my Apple TV fairly easily once I realized how to do it. Most of your remotes, though, are going to be infrared, and for that you're going to select infrared and it'll take you to this screen, and then you're going to select from brands. If you don't see your brand, you can type it in. So I've selected Roku because I have a streaming stick that I want to add. Now my streaming stick is the 3810X and it is not in this database, and because it's not in the database, it's going to ask me to start testing. So this testing screen is going to take you through 3 power buttons, one at a time. When you press one, it'll ask you whether it powered your device on or not. Of course, you have to have the device within sight of the remote. If it powers it, you're going to say yes. If it doesn't, you're going to say no, and it'll take you to the next power button. My device, my Roku, actually worked on one of these power buttons. However, the buttons on the remote didn't work. The power button did, and then no other buttons did. So if that happens to you, it's going to take you to another option where you have to use a learning mode and actually program the remote button by button. And this can be kind of a tedious process, and it's not guaranteed to work. It did not work for my Roku. So the learning mode is the hardest and most cumbersome way of learning one remote to the next. And for me, this was a real turnoff. I didn't like using this mode at all. Now, the problem with this, like I said, is in the learning mode, it's just inconsistent. Some buttons it's able to learn on some remotes and others it's not. If you can use one of the other 2 methods to get the remotes programmed, you're going to have a really good success rate with doing that. The success rate that I had pairing remotes with the learning mode, I was able to get a couple of remotes fully learned in this and they're functional, but I also found that I had a few remotes that I was not able to get paired at all using this method. And the problem is that was the last choice. So those remotes still remain unable to be paired to the SofaBaton. And while programming was the major thing that I did not like about the product, I did find customer service to more than make up for that. And there are so many more things to like about this product. With this one remote, I can go to my master bedroom TV. I could then go over to, say, Apple TV. We'll go to home, I'm now on this device. Once I'm on the Apple TV, whichever device you want to connect to, you can connect to. This one remote is doing this all, whereas before I had to have two separate remotes just to navigate that. Let's say I wanted to go to my DVD player. I go to Sony DVD MB, which is master bedroom. I could power it on. I could then go to master bedroom TV. I go to input, go to DVD. This is all being done with the one remote. And I know what some of you are already thinking, and that's, can you program macros so that I don't have to scroll through to each device to separately turn it on? And yes, you can program macros. That's another thing that I love about this remote. I just wanted to show you that I had several different devices in it. Programming macros is something you can do, and once your devices are paired to this remote, programming macros is fairly simple. Even the mood lighting in the bedroom. Yeah, I made a headboard with mood lighting. Don't judge. Let's say you want to change the mood. All I do is turn it to headboard. I can pick a color. Want it to be white or blue or red. Let's say I want it to flash or fade. I've got all these available options in this remote. I can operate any one of these colors through these assigned keys. I was able to eliminate the headboard remote, the DVD remote, the TV remote, and my least favorite of all, the Apple TV remote. I wasn't able to put this remote in it. This apparently is some sort of radio frequency remote, which I would really like to replace. So I hope that the next version of this has some sort of RF in it so that I can replace this, because this remote is broke beyond repair and is being held together with a rubber band. Also because it gets flung out of the bed because I fall asleep with it in my hand quite frequently. And I was also able to hook up my living room remote very easily once I connected with the company and they added it to the database. I'm slowly but surely eliminating quite a few remotes in the house and just going to have eventually, hopefully, one that takes care of everything. Now, there'll be a couple devices here and there that just won't connect for whatever reason. The ceiling fan remote, for instance, is RF, so I have to use it in order to turn the ceiling fan on and off and go through its functions, because this does not offer RF. Now, of course, I'd really like them to add radio frequency, because in our house, we have audio equipment that is in the closet. So in order to get to this, it would have to go through walls, and it just doesn't do that yet. Some other things I did like is the control feels real good in your hand. It's designed well. It has a shake awake feature, so when you pick it up, it automatically turns on, and the backlighting comes on as well, which a lot of my remotes didn't even have backlighting, and that's a feature that I love. Overall, it's eliminating remotes in my house slowly but surely.